What is up, my friends? It is Saturday evening and you are very welcome along to today's news roundup. Now, there won't be a live stream tonight as I need a little bit of a breather, so we will have a news video out at about 9 o'clock as well, and tomorrow we'll be back to our usual programming. News video at 4:30, stream at 8:45, and of course, late night news roundup as well. Today we're going to talk about the contract offer for Ibrahim Konate. Federico Chiesa looks like he wants to stay at Anfield this season. We're going to speak about a couple of other incomings as well, like Marc, a little bit on the potential of signing Alexander Isak and what Eddie Howe has had to say, and a couple of other bits and pieces, including the statement from Antoine Semenyo after the racist incident yesterday at Anfield. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do my part and go through all the stories. Of course, I want you to let me know your thoughts. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So let's start off with a report from Dave O.C. Cop, who said Ibrahim Konate has a new contract offer from Liverpool and the club want him to make his mind up before the transfer window closes. There is a chance, although not guaranteed, that the defender could be sold if he does not renew before the window shuts. I'm really confused by this situation because we see plenty of talk in the media about Liverpool's interest in Marc. Now we know the contract offer's there for Konate, and I've yet to see anybody really address whether there is a world where Liverpool renew Konate and bring in Marc. Now, as a fan, I'd love that to be the case, but as a pragmatist and somebody who looks at this situation, I struggle to see that the manager bringing in Giovanni Leone, Joe Gomez back fit, Virgil van Dijk, Konate at the club. I just can't see a world where he could convince Marc of the game time with Leone, Van Dijk, Konate. Like I've said, just feels like a lot of bodies to keep happy. So let me know what you guys think of it. I've not really seen it addressed much in the media, but for me it's a situation that I just can't really envision both of the lads being at the club. Maybe if Guehi comes in for one season and Konate won't renew, perhaps he leaves at the end of it, and as the season goes on, Marc Guehi comes to the fore as the partner for Virgil. That's the only really way I can think about it. Right, Ali McCoy, speaking about Isak and his situation, said, I'd be very surprised if we see him in a Newcastle shirt again. And of course, Newcastle and Eddie Howe played today against Aston Villa at Villa Park. It was a pretty dire 0-0, and this is what the Newcastle manager Eddie Howe had to say. Whatever happens with Isak, our supporters acted really well today because they supported the team when we were playing. They've always done that unbelievably well. If they want to say something afterwards, they're free to do that. And look, he kind of has a point, right? Supporters are there to support the team, the players who wear the shirt. And, you know, Newcastle fans have always been really good about showing their support for their team. So I do get where he's coming from. I want to move on now to Antoine Semenyo and that incident last night at Anfield. Firstly, Romano needs to start choosing his words very carefully, because racist chants, at Anfield, there was not last night. But there was a racist incident, and let me be clear, on behalf of every Liverpool fan, either at that stadium or around the world, we absolutely don't want anything like this attached to our football club, to our team, or to our supporters. That individual should be held to account, and I condemn it in the highest possible regard. It's disgusting. You know my take on it. Regular viewers will know I've no room for it. There's no room in society for it, whether it's racially aggravated things, whether it's homophobia, whether it's xenophobia. There's no room for it in football. I apologise on behalf of all Liverpool fans, again to Antoine Semenyo, for the hurt that he received yesterday. And I want to just take a minute to read out a very touching statement that Antoine Semenyo put out. He said, last night at Anfield will stay with me forever, not because of one person's words, but because of how the entire football family stood together. To my Bournemouth teammates who supported me in that moment, to the Liverpool players and fans who showed their true character, to the Premier League officials who handled it professionally, thank you. Football showed its best side when it mattered most. Scoring those 2 goals felt like speaking the only language that truly matters on the pitch. This is why I play, for moments like these. For my teammates, for everybody who believes in what a beautiful game can be. And look, again, sincerely, this is not something anybody wants to see in football. I can't believe in this day and age that we are still discussing this incident and these type of things that are happening to players week in and week out. It needs to be stamped out. Authorities need to do more. Education, of course, needs to be at the forefront. And social media companies, albeit not at fault for this incident absolutely need to step up as well. So again, no room for it in the game, and it's a really sad state of affairs when Antoine Semenyo had to go about his work last night and be on the end of that. Not something we want to see. Federico Chiesa, on a bit of a brighter note, looks like he now wants to stay at Liverpool, according to Fabrizio Romano. He said he's determined to stay and prove himself. Look, this is music to the ears of myself and many Liverpool fans who always wanted Chiesa to be given an opportunity and to see what he can do. If he fails in a Liverpool shirt because of performances, that's one thing. But not giving the guy an opportunity always felt a little bit unfair. So delighted from last night to get that goal. What an important goal it was. And it wasn't an easy finish. You know, he had to slice across the ball, manipulate his body. And you could see when he wheeled away what it meant to the stadium, what it meant to him, and of course, what it meant for the result as well. So great news that Fede wants to stay, and hopefully we can see him utilise more this season because he's a really good option for Ireland to have, an established Italian international and a goal scorer. So bring it on. Hopefully he does stay. Right, more from Fabrizio Romano, this time around Marc Guehi. He said Marc Guehi wants to join Liverpool. If not now, it's going to be in the future, but the deal is absolutely on for this summer. And like I've said, I hope it is the case, but I struggle to see a world where we extend Konate and bring in Marc Guehi. But let's see how this one plays out. There is still just over 2 weeks of the transfer window left, so plenty of time for a few more twists and turns. Right, anyhow, speaking about Alexander Isak, had this to say: we'd like a resolution. We need that clarity. I'm not in control of it, but only one person is. I've made my stance pretty clear. And that's from Keith Downey of Sky Sports. And then the last thing I wanted to bring to you guys today was something that Dave O'Seacott mentioned the other day, but we didn't really have a chance to cover too much. And that is that Liverpool are considering spending 60 to 70 million pounds on a winger separate to the Alexander Isak situation. That would be incredible. But if Chiesa is about to stay, is that going to be the case? If Chiesa stays, we'd have Chiesa, in this instance, let's say Isak or another forward. We'd have Salah, Gakpo, young Rio, and of course Ugo Ekitike. So I don't see where Liverpool fit this body in if Isak comes in as well, unless we are finally starting to acknowledge that maybe Rio isn't going to be a week in, week out first teamer just yet. That's the only way I could see this one panning out, because we just don't have the space. If Rio's going to be utilised this season, where do we fit in the 7th attacker? I just don't see the room for it in the squad. So ladies and gentlemen, that's where we're at for now. Of course, there will be a news update video tonight. Probably going to put it out about 9 o'clock or so. Want to make sure that you guys can enjoy your football for the afternoon as well. We will be back tomorrow, like I said, usual programming, 8:45. What a way to start the Premier League yesterday. It was the most Liverpool of games, wasn't it? Racing into a 2-goal lead, being pegged back with some defensive frailty, and then showing courage and heart at the end of it to go up the other end and get the job done. Great start, but more difficult tasks to come. Newcastle on Monday week is going to be, well, a tasty affair to say the least. Let's see what happens. But if we can come out with that with some points, it'll be a great start to the season. That's it from me for now. I will catch up with you guys tonight. Much love, my friends. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.